Hello everybody, welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hosler, as always, with CoolStuffInc, and this is Gyruda. I'm going to be honest, I don't know how to say it, but it's that card and we're playing it in Modern. So I have to give credit for this insane list to Chris Hafner, turn at T1 Looting on Twitter. I always try to credit deck lists. I know if somebody at home works hard to break something and then they see a content creator take it from them, they don't like that, and they shouldn't. So I always make sure to credit people. So Chris, thank you for sharing this incredible deck. The only change I made was putting in these evil twins of a progenitor mimic, which costs 6 mana. So all right, let's break down what Gyruda is doing here. Doom of Depths. It is a companion. Everything's a companion these days. Your starting deck contains only cards with even mana costs. Well, we've done that because 0 is even, and this is 2 and 4 and 6 shop, so it works. When Gyruda enters the battlefield, each player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. Put a creature card with even CMC among them onto the battlefield under your control. So, guess what? If all of our creatures copy Gyruda, when we play a Gyruda, which by the way we always have access to because it's our companion, we're just going to keep playing them all out. So look at this deck. This is a thing of beauty. We've got clones. We've got Phantasmal Image here. We've got Metamorph. We've got Spark Double. This is a crazy one from War of the Spark here. We've got Evil Twin. We've got Sakashima the Impostor. We're reaching back for this. But you know what? That's a lot of ways to copy Gyruda. We then have Restoration Angel to blink your Gyruda. The idea is to just keep getting this effect. Spam all of these creatures out on the battlefield. Have 1 billion copies of Gyruda, and then Dragonlord Kolaghan comes into play, gives all of our creatures haste. We swing in and kill them. That's the plan. We also have Lotus Bloom. That'll make 3 mana after 3 turns when you suspend it. Pentad Prism can store up 2 mana. Heartless Summoning makes your cards cost 2 less to put into play, your creature spells. And honestly, that's the deck. We're going to make a bunch of Gyrudas, hopefully attack with them. And it's a sweet, sweet deck. We've got Cavern of Souls to protect it. We've got Gemstone Caverns to cheat ahead even further here on mana. Straightforward mana base after that. Onto the sideboard, where one of our spots, of course, is Gyruda as our companion. And then a lot of ways to deal with... I mean, look, our deck is straightforward. Our sideboard needs to interact with people. So I've got Collective Brutality here for people with cryptic commands, and it also doubles against burn, so we have a little bit of interaction. We've got Leyline of Sanctities, we've got Echoing Truths to bounce, we've got Engineered Explosives and Damnation to blow things up, and we've got Pact of Negation to keep our opponents from tapping down our attack step with a Cryptic Command. Now, we do run into Force of Negation. I imagine those Cryptic Command decks are probably our hardest matchup, but otherwise, this deck is sweet. You cast the 1 Gyruda out of your command zone, basically, right? Out of your companion zone, and you get them all and you attack and you win. That's the idea. So it is straightforward. It is Gyruda companion time here on Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hosler. From my house to yours, as none of us are leaving our houses right now, thank you so much for watching. I'm happy to be able to still make content for you. And speaking of that, I will do a little plug here before I get into the videos. Starting tomorrow, on Wizards YouTube channel, on the Wizards of the Coast main YouTube channel, I will be part of a special new show that's coming out. I'm not going to spoil anything more than that. I am doing some research behind the scenes work, which I did on the first episode. In future weeks, I will actually be on there as well, but it's got a lot of really cool people involved. It's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure to check that out on the Wizards of the Coast YouTube channel, the Magic the Gathering page. Everyone, thanks for watching. Let's jump into it with Gyruda here. All right, everybody, here we go. It is Gyruda time. Let's go and make this thing our companion and see what we can do here. I do want to add one thing that I didn't have in the deck tech there, which is at Verbal Devil on Twitter is also to credit for this deck. So shout out to both him and Chris for this deck. So, all right, here we go. Are we going to keep this hand? Well, I see no reason not to, I guess. We've got a Pentad Prism. I think we're on the... Oh my gosh, we're on the draw. Look at this. It's the dream. We're going to put our Gemstone Caverns into play. I love it. And then it's just so easy to exile this Evil Twin or this other Gyruda. I don't even know. I guess that... I don't really know. This deck is something, huh? All right, I'm just going to pitch the Resto Angel. It seems like the worst. I guess. It doesn't... I don't know. We'll see. At least this can copy one of their things. This can... copy things, and we'll see what we can do here. Gemstone Caverns, so we've got a luck counter. I love this design. A luck counter on our legendary land means that we can add any color of mana with it, but perhaps more importantly, it means that it's just a ramp. you know, we're gonna steal the play away essentially here in exchange for that card. It's basically what it does. So our opponent thought seizing us. Now, this is actually kind of unfortunate because I can only assume they're gonna make the correct play here and take the Pentad Prism, which would not be ideal for us. So I assume that's what's going to happen. We want to be able to ramp into this. We didn't have one of our better ramp hands, no Lotus Bloom or anything, but honestly, I don't know what you're supposed to do when it comes to mulligan with this deck. Our opponent does not appear to be on a companion. All right, they took the Pentad Prism as expected. I wonder if this deck would like just a Coalition Relic as a backup or something, just to get some extra mana ramp in there. Well, we drew a Resto Angel anyways, so... Okay, our hand, I won't lie to you, was a lot better when it had a Pentad Prism in it, and I was going to tap out for that this turn and untap next turn to have up to 5 mana, but I guess we'll see what our opponent's up to here. See what we can do. They did a good job making Gyruda cost 6. I mean, look, I know companions have been everywhere in every format, so it's pretty easy to say these things are just too good or whatever, but... Thank God this thing costs 6, because if it costs any less, it would be even more ridiculous. I've seen people make it work in Standard, make it work in Pioneer, and I gotta say, though, it seems at its best here in Modern. You know, in Legacy, you never really get an opportunity to play it, but in Modern, there's the critical mass of good clone effects for it, while also you can take till turn 4 to play it in theory, right? Our opponent's just gonna Goyf here, and see, I'm just happy. I'm just so happy to just Phantasmal Image this Goyf. Our opponent surely has removal for it, but as long as we can draw some mana, we'll be okay. That, unfortunately, that was not mana. I wonder if I should have put the Gyruda back in the beginning. I didn't know what they were doing. I was thinking maybe they were, if they had counterspells or something, I'd like to have access to a second one. I don't know. Hitting lands, though, is really all we need. I mean, imagine if we had hit a land here, we had a third one, and we could just go Spark, you know, we could play this Goyf and then play Spark Double, Restoration Angel, Evil Twin. I mean, Evil Twin, our opponent's Tarmogoyf. The way Richard Garfield intended Magic to be played. That would have been sweet. So, anyway, so our opponent on Sultai over there. Let's see what they're up to. It's unfortunate we stole the play, right, with our Gemstone Caverns, just to miss land drops anyway. That said, if we start drawing some lands, I mean, look, my opponent doesn't have removal for our Tarmogoyf. We can block their Tarmogoyf all day long, and then we start making more Tarmogoyfs. I will not be blinking with this Restoration Angel. However, luck counters, huh? Don't even have to worry about our mana. Well, they actually took the Gyruda. Okay, I guess that's fine. I mean, I don't know what the plan here is for this game, frankly, for us. I guess it's to draw lands. I'm nowhere near casting Gyruda, unfortunately. So I guess it's basically to draw lands, play Spark Double, Evil Twins, Restoration Angels, and just kind of get there. With I guess our own army of Tarmogoyfs. Our opponent is at 11. Seems reasonable. They could also have anything up right now, right? They're thinking about this. They could have a counterspell. They could have an Assassin's Trophy. I'd love to get Assassin's Trophy, frankly. Well, I guess it doesn't quite work that way, huh? Yeah, unfortunately. So the Assassin's Trophy, we had two basics on our deck, but the Assassin's Trophy targets the Phantasmal Image. It then causes the trigger on the Phantasmal Image to sacrifice itself. So by the time the Assassin's Trophy actually gets around to resolving to try to give us a land, our creature's no longer on the battlefield. It doesn't have a legal target. It's countered on resolution. So that makes everything a little harder here. But hey, that's like drawing that island is like drawing the Assassin's Trophy land anyway. So, all right, now we've got a plan again. Now we're one land away from Evil Twinning my opponent's Tarmogoyf. So you don't know, this is a cool design. I think it was originally Innistrad. You can have it near the battlefield as a copy of any creature, except it's still called, or I guess it then has the ability to pay 2 mana, blue and a black, to kill every creature with the same name as it. So if we copy Tarmogoyf, we can then tap this to destroy this Tarmogoyf. We have to not die first, though. That is the thing. Did our opponent just... Okay, so they just main phase the Coatl, just digging for lands here, I guess. You know what? We got a real shot. Show me land off the top, Magic Online, and we have a legitimate chance at winning this game. All right, here we go. Fingers crossed. All right, Pentad Prism, huh? That is... Click done to finish paint. Yeah, I can only do 2. Okay, so Well, this makes things interesting because now we're going to take, gosh, at least 6. We're going to go down to 4, which means we could very easily be dead here. But on the other hand, hitting a land off the top of our deck, now it can't be any land, and we have like Seachrome Coasts and stuff. We have some lands it doesn't work with, but we can play our companion if we hit an untapped land here and try to just win. And that's the thing about this deck is it doesn't matter if we're at 1 life and have no other permanents in play when we cast our Gyruda. We can just win on the spot if everything goes well anyways. If not, we'll have to play this Evil Twin, I guess, on the Tarmogoyf, hope to block. Our opponent's got 2 cards in hand. I mean, I don't love our chances if we're forced to continue playing fair, but hopefully we'll just draw this untapped land here. I can even shock one in, and we'll try to combo with this Gyruda. Let's see what my opponent's got here. Yep, that's kind of what I figured. An Uro, not that big of a deal. I mean, it is a good card. They can escape it probably next turn, blah, blah, blah. Look, we're not going to win the game playing fairly necessarily. Although now, if they did have it in play, I guess I could copy it. But this all comes down to whether or not we hit land and whether our opponent has interaction. And they're out of cards, so they have no interaction. We're dead if we don't hit it. But untapped land, we got a shot. Come on, Magic Online. Let me get lucky. Oh, I was so scared of that. What a disaster. I was just the worst one. Oh, man. All right, sad day. We cannot play that card. If we had just gotten there a turn earlier. Unfortunate. All right, so our opponent is playing Tarmogoyfs, and they're just playing Sultai Value, huh? And is Leyline of Sanctity good here? It's good against the... Certainly good against the... Thoughtseizes and stuff, but I don't know that I care that much about Thoughtseizes right now. My opponent's probably boarding into some kind of counter spells or something, I would imagine. Let's see if we can get a Pact of Negation or 2 in here. It can be pretty difficult to cast Gyruda in the deck, all right? You gotta, that is a known risk. All right, what do we want to cut here? I have no clue how to board with this deck at all. Something like this, maybe. I guess it's cut a rest, though. I like I said, this is a combo deck. It's a new deck. I've never played anything like this before, where you have this little room. I mean, it's weird. Basically, all of the cards in our deck do the same thing. So, which are the right ones to cut? How many can you cut? Because it's not like Gyruda is a clearly broken card. You're only looking at like the top 4. You have to be able to actually get there, right? It's not that easy to continue your combo with it. You can easily hit 4 lands. That's why we play so few lands, only 20, I think. That said, this looks like a hand right here. I guess this can't actually make colored mana for Pentad Prism, but it is a land, and we're going to have to draw more lands anyways. If we draw those lands, then we got the Pentad Prism up. I don't know. This deck can definitely... I'm seeing how this deck can be a little awkward. We're figuring it out as we go here. But you know what? We were just if that wasn't a Darkslick Shores, if it had just been anything but a Darkslick Shores last game, we would have been set to try to go off. That was really unfortunate. All right, I can only assume we're getting Thoughtseize here. But if my opponent doesn't have it, and we get to... I guess you can always... You can put any mana you want into Pentad Prism. It always costs 2 mana. But I guess if all we have is blue, then all it would do is make 1 color, which is... Hey, I guess it's still a Lotus Petal at that point, right? All right, what is this thing? I gotta figure out what... A Demon Kraken, huh? I don't think this matters too much, but... We'll release the Kraken. Okay. And then we... this is... Do I actually want to play the Pentad Prism for no value? I don't. If my opponent was going to Thoughtseize us, they probably already would have done it. Phantasmal Image, a 2-mana clone here is nice. I almost... I don't know. Getting to 6 mana seems like a challenge. And look, I just took the list online, which 5-0'd a modern event on Magic Online. So there's clearly something here. But we played 2 games, and it's both games now we're looking at how are we going to get to 6 mana? It is not an easy thing to do, it appears. So, that said, my opponent's plan is to play a slow game with Tarmogoyfs. We're perfectly capable and happy of doing that for the moment. Just give me a land here, game. There's the Pact. All right. See what we can do, I guess. This is going to at least tax something from them. It messes up their Uro turn. If they're going for Uro on turn 3, they won't be able to pull that off. Yeah, of course, if they have removal for our Phantasmal Image, well, then the Goyf beatdowns start, but that's just the way it goes. Pact of Negation wouldn't actually help there, plus, obviously, we would die. Okay. I don't think this matters, because this is actually kind of weird. So, a Mordigo, you search your opponent's graveyard, hand, library for 4 cards with same name, exile them. Then we shuffle, draw a card for each card, exile from our hand that way. You will notice that this little heart symbol over here, the companion zone, is not named on Unmordigo. Unmordigo does not say look in the companion zone for their Gyruda. So if my opponent takes the Gyrudas out of my deck and the Gyruda out of my hand, they actually draw us a card, which is actually what we want. And I can only assume that's what's been done here. So this does make our hits slightly less likely. On the other hand, we're more likely to actually find a land here. Try to get there. Oh, jeez. I kind of just think I have to do this. This feels so silly. But I don't know. We gotta try to advance our game state here. This is just painful. I don't know. We had 2 lands. We had a Pentad Prism. We had, I don't know. It looked like a good hand. Drawing Dragonlord Kolaghan, not ideal, by the way, as you might have guessed, because we like this to be the last creature we put into play, or at least, I mean, look, your opponent's only start with 20 lives. This isn't Commander. We don't have to do 40. You only need a couple Gyruda hits and then a Dragonlord Kolaghan to kill him most of the time. Drawing it, though, when we wanted to draw a land, that's pretty painful. The good news is if we do find a land, we can do this Pentad Prism for 2. That would be 3 mana basically out there that on top of the 3 lands. Like, in theory, we're getting closer here. If we can find a land. I mean, basically that's all we need, right? Is we need a black source and we're good to go. All right. Jace the Mind Sculptor, huh? Well, the beatdown begins because I can only assume that our opponent's going to bounce our Tarmogoyf, which kills the image. Oh, no, they're going to Brainstorm. Okay. I mean, I don't know what they're looking for, but this probably plays into our hands. I think I'm more worried about them removing my Tarmogoyf, hitting me for the 3 it is, and just starting the beatdown. They load their hand up. Yeah, we'll try to go off eventually. We have a Pact of Negation. If they end up with 2 packs or something, and then infinite counterspells over there, if we ever actually get to cast a Gyruda, then so be it. But this is going to give us more time to try to do that, which is good, especially given that we want to set, we're going to need to set up with the Pentad Prism and so on. I guess, the other thing is any one land here also sort of gets us closer to just playing some of these 4-drop creatures we have. Okay, I can actually play that. Doesn't do me any good, but I could play that. Man, come on, game. I'm not sure. I think this deck probably needs another mana rock or 2. We've not had good luck drawing lands, and there's only 20 of them. We're not even drawing that far below expectations, I don't think. Maybe I'm supposed to be mulliganing more aggressively, but I don't know. 2 lands, Pentad Prism, a bunch of clones. It's pretty good, right? All right, here comes the Liliana. So we will be dead very quickly here. I think we basically, I mean, the corner is gonna turn here very quick for our opponent now that they can Liliana away our creature, start brainstorming every turn, getting in there with a Goyf. So I would say we basically need to hit a land on our next turn to be able to do anything. Spark Double, not in our hand, but none of these things copy. They all copy creatures. I believe it's only Spark Double that can copy Planeswalkers. Metamorph can copy artifacts. Might copy this Astrolabe if we were to draw another colorless land. This card actually has, I mean, copy this has a little bit of value, which is kind of funny because we can actually use that to filter colors for the Pentad Prism. That has some value. If my opponent played that earlier, I might have pulled the trigger on that already. But all right, it's a 3/4 Tarmogoyf. Our opponent is they are fate sealing us. I see. Yeah, I think we're probably pretty dead here. I don't know anything about the matchup. I don't know anything about the format. I do know that you have to draw lands to play Magic, and we failed at that very basic aspect of the game. In this match, at least. Hopefully, it'll be a little better for us in the next one. I can cast that. Now I can play this too, right? Sure can. Let's copy this Astrolabe and draw a card. It worked. We did it. Okay, so what do I have here? I'm actually going to need black mana for Shapeshifter, I guess. Oh, I have this, so okay. All right. Well, how many turns do I think I have here? Yeah. Okay. I mean, look, I guess this is the plan. We hit our land. This is probably the best we can do. Next turn with the Astrolabe, we can play the Pentad Prism. And then we have a Heartless Summoning out. Do I just have it when I untap? No, I need one more land. Maybe I wasn't supposed to draw a card there. Maybe I just keep... Well, I don't know. We didn't have the third land. It's hard to say. I mean, this Heartless Summoning gets us a lot closer. I don't really care about discarding much here. We'll just discard a creature. My opponent got an artifact. So it's a 4/5 Goyf, but even with that, we only go down to 11. I mean, we might get a shot here. And the thing is, with a second Pentad Prism in hand, if our opponent Fate Seals us or something like that again, Maelstrom Pulse on the Summoning, huh? Well, I can't afford to pact it, so I guess that happens. And now it's a 5/6 Goyf. Well, yeah, it turns out when your opponent has a Jace, they usually just have all the answers, right? I mean, that said, we still got a shot. I can Pentad Prism for 2 colors next turn, which then means I untap and I have access to 5 mana. We'll be in the same boat where we have basically a turn to draw an untapped land to try to do something. So, fingers crossed, I guess. We'll see what happens. Yep. Oh, my opponent. Okay, so my opponent's brainstorming too. So, we have an honest-to-goodness live draw at this here. To try to hit a land. And then, I mean, look, we're going to take 5, go to 10. Next turn, we take 8, go to 2. So it actually can't even be a shock land at that point. And my opponent's going to Surgical our Heartless Summoning. Okay. Guess that's fine. I mean, this improves our odds of drawing a land, I suppose. All right, the Heartless Summonings are gone. Okay, well, in comes the beats, puts us down to 10, but our opponent has no cards in hand, so we are live here, if nothing else. I don't know about these Pact of Negations. Maybe you really only want them against counterspell decks. That is a colorless land. That would have gotten us there last turn. However, it could still get us there next turn. So let's go ahead and do this. Add black. All right, so we have access to 1, 2, 3, 4 mana here. You know, I could do something like the Evil Twin, but with the Liliana and the Jace out, that doesn't seem like the plan. Seems like the plan is simply to play this Pentad Prism out and hope that we live to untap. Because we actually have everything we need here. We can legitimately steal this game. Maybe. Can we, though? I say that. The Dragonlord Kolaghan's in my hand. I actually can't even get it into play to give my creatures haste, so... You know, I say that we can win. I mean, we're just going to be putting a board together at this point, basically, right? So, and we'll see what we can do here. I mean, our opponent missed on the first draw step off the Coatl, and now they're making a clue token. So, I mean, we've actually we got a shot. We got a shot. All right, I don't really know the difference in any of these, so I'll just get rid of the Sakashima. All right, well, we take 8. We're not dead. We're at least going to get a roll the dice on our Gyruda here. Maybe we can get fortunate enough. We get what? 4 Gyrudas in play. We're ahead on board. So, but really, with the Liliana sacrifice and the Jace bounce, we really need to pop off. We're going to actually need like 6 creatures in play or something to not die. But hey, chip in a chair is what they say in poker, right? We've got, well, I have a chair. I've got a Magic Online. I've got a draw step? I got a draw step and a chair? I don't know. A draw step and a prayer. How about that? All right, our opponent is drawing a card with their clue. Oh, no. Yeah, they are. Interesting. They haven't even brainstormed yet, have they? They're eating up their mana if they had anything they wanted to brainstorm for. This puts us down to 1. That's not lethal. I mean, one's probably... I mean, the answer, though, actually here is one is not... One is not the same as 0 because of this Icefang Waddle. So we're going to need to hit a bunch of Gyrudas and then something to copy this so we have a flyer, but then we lose to the bounce? We might just be dead anyways. You know, just going for that extra point of damage there on that tracker actually might kind of make the difference because it means the Icefang Waddle kills us next turn if we can't present lethal, and I don't know that we can. I guess we can hit Resto Angels. That's the plan, is to hit... we need to hit 2 Resto Angels throughout all of this at the end, basically. That way we have 2 flying blockers in play. I mean, I guess 1 Resto Angel, and then we can make one of our things a copy. So, okay. All right, we've got some outs here. Our opponent has the 2 cards in hand they got with their Jace right now. But hey, we're live here. Here we go. And it is going to be an uncounterable Gyruda, so that helps too. Sure, I'm named Demon this time. Or what is this thing? It's a Demon Kraken, I'm in. I gotta type it in, sure, why not? Alright, Demon Kraken, let's do it. Okay, Gyruda for the first time in my life. Let's see how it goes. Figure, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Our opponent kind of helped us out. They removed 3 cards we don't want at this point and 3 that we did, so we'll just see what happens. Look at that. It begins! Yep, alright, here we go. Spark Double, hidden play. Spark Double copying Gyruda. New Gyruda trigger. Make sure I'm working through this right. Alright, we got a Sakashima and an Evil Twin in this pile. Sakashima, get in here. Sakashima copy Gyruda. New Gyruda trigger. We got a Phantasmal Image and another Sakashima. Alright, we're doing it. Phantasmal Image copy Gyruda. New trigger. Spark Double copy Gyruda. New trigger, please. Now we need a flyer, though. Now we need a flyer to not die. Metamorph, huh? All right, so the thing is, it's basically got to be like... It basically has to be Resto Angel, because Metamorph on the Coatl right now, it just leaves us dead. Which is just so sad, but that's where we're at. So I guess it's Metamorph, copy Gyruda, and see where we go this time. Resto? What? Oh, no, did we miss? Oh, no, I think we missed. So, there you have it, everybody. I only put, what is this, 4 times 6, 24 and 14, 38 damage into play. I put 38 into play for 6 mana. Pretty good. Unfortunately, heads up play by our opponent actually sacking that clue, recognizing that we were going to do this next turn and that they couldn't deal with it. And they got there. We needed a Resto Angel late to blink a Gyruda to get another. We needed 2 Resto Angels to win, and we did not get there, and I have no way of playing this to give anything haste, so unfortunately we have died, despite doing some cool stuff, so, whatever. My opponent says this sweet combo. GG. That was good. All right, we'll see if we get him in the next game. We did it, right? I got to be happy with that. That was great. That was great. I love it. All right. On to game 2. Match 2, rather. All right, we're trying again. It is time for Gyruda. We're on the play. So this Gemstone Caverns, not so great, but Lotus Bloom, very good. And Heartless Summoning. So, I think we actually have a plan here. I mean, we're going to cast a Lotus Bloom and hope to draw lands mostly, I guess is the plan. But, hey, that's a reasonable plan, right? Okay, so do this. Go ahead and suspend this thing right away. Play out our land. No luck counter this time around. And see what's up here. So, in 3 turns, when this comes off suspend, it'll be turn 4, and it'll be a Black Lotus. We'll have 3 mana. So, you recognize this card from hits like Ad Nauseam. Staple of that deck in Modern for a very long time now. Now we're getting somewhere. That was a clutch draw right there. Hitting that right off the top. Getting the Heartless Summoning out there. Now, next turn, we can either Prism for 1, or we can wait the turn... We can Metamorph. We can do a lot of stuff next turn, it turns out. Most likely, probably just play this Pentad Prism, but Our opponent just passing with blue-green and mana open. So I also wouldn't hate a counter spell. Oh, yeah, Cavern of Souls. All right, well, Gemstone Caverns number 2, I guess. Oh, they're legendary? Okay. Whoops. Whoops. I bet it doesn't really change much, right? We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the summoning here. So if I hit a land, an untapped land, well, I guess most of my lands would be untapped at this point, but untapped land, I can play Gyruda. No untapped land, I can still play Gyruda, assuming this resolves anyways, this Lotus Bloom here. My opponent could opt to counter the Lotus Bloom. Probably not, but we'll see. But, you know, hitting land could also be the difference between paying for mana leak or something like that, right? If our opponent has a hard counter, they have a hard counter. But if it's a mana leak, this Gyruda, instead of 6, it costs 4 because of Heartless Summoning. And so if we have 7 mana, we can pay for a leak. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. All right. Here goes nothing. Oh, actually, did I mess up somewhere? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, well. Oh, I understand. I tapped 5. I understand where I messed up. Okay, anyways. Anyways, it resolved, and now it's time to do our thing. Spark double this Gyruda, please. New trigger. This is nice. We actually have 3 mana open after this. All right, well, my opponent is going to crack a Misty here. So they're just on some kind of control deck over there. We see Force of Negations to Fairies, so on. So, all right, they've shocked in this land, but now we're letting Gyruda trigger resolve. Or not. Okay. The problem is, now that I have 2 of them, it's a little rough for my opponent. Okay, well, I guess it works, because here comes another Gyruda. I guess I'll keep this. I guess I'll keep this one. Whatever. Let's see if we get there. All right, so my opponent thinks they're doing something this time around. Another Gyruda trigger on the snap. Snapcaster Path. Great, I'm in. Doesn't change too much about what I'm trying to do here. So I don't really care if they path us. As a matter of fact, pathing us just makes us more likely to hit more Gyrudas. So, you know what? I'm in. Path away, friend. Sure. Why not? All right, well, here we go. Gyruda trigger, fingers crossed. Oh my gosh. I really haven't figured this out, though. Like, what am I supposed to do when I hit Dragonlord Kolaghan? I think this still works. I think I can put the Dragonlord Kolaghan in play, because I can actually just play this Phyrexian Metamorph. So now all my creatures have haste, but now I can just play the Metamorph, still even keeping up mana. I can actually still even play a Spark Double off of this. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that we're going to get there. All right, I got to make sure this works. Can I copy the Dragonlord Kolaghan? It enters with an additional counter. Oh, my opponent says, is this Corbin Hosler? Yes, it is. Hello. I would like to copy this Gyruda and trigger a new Gyruda. And what are we going to hit with this one? This deck is fun. Win or lose, and I have to imagine that after we sideboard, our opponent's sitting on stuff like Archmage's Charm and Forces. And this has got to be an atrocious matchup for us after sideboarding, but it is going to be sweet if we can get there right here, and I think we're basically there, right? This thing doesn't have reach, but only this flies, so we get in 5, that puts him at 10. Yeah, we just have lethal regardless of what happens, but yeah. All right. Okay, so my opponent was chatting with us. Sorry there. Okay, so by the way, we casually did it. We hit another Gyruda. I mean, I could stop at any time, but you really want to stop when you're having this much fun. Look at this, Resto Angel, blink this Gyruda. This is disgusting. I'm having fun. I am having a good time with this deck. This is a perfect Mighty Modern deck. It's like a less consistent, more ridiculous Neo brand combo. The Neo form deck. It's basically that, only more ridiculous. Has the same ability to win just stupid games, but much slower, much worse, which makes it more fun for Mighty Modern. All right, what am I doing? Oh, I got to make a copy here. Yeah, I'll copy Gyruda. Get another trigger. And see what happens. My opponent asked if I was recording. Yes, I am recording. And could I stop right now? Look, I've got a lot of Gyrudas in play. Could I stop making Gyrudas? Yeah, I probably could. But am I going to? No, I'm not. I'm going to put this Phyrexian Metamorph in play and make another copy of a Gyruda. This is silly. This is a great, what do you say? Another one? Another one? You know, I was a little worried comboing off of the deck. Like, 4 is not very many cards to put into a pile. You know, you are very often going to miss with 4 cards. And that's just part of the game. Now, sometimes you'll get a 4 hit like this. But one thing I want to point out that I actually didn't quite really think through before. But look. If you can continue hitting Gyrudas, as our opponent scoops, obviously, but if you continue hitting Gyrudas, even if you don't get the Dragonlord Kolaghan and you can't win on the spot by attacking for lethal, you actually, if you go all the way, can often mill your opponent out, and our opponents will be fetching, and we won't, so we should have a larger deck size. So, assuming we keep the combo going, we'll actually mill our opponents out past the turn. We don't actually lose to a Cryptic Command tap down or something like that necessarily. We make them mill themselves out, so... Big brain plays. Didn't really think about that one. All right. Well, this is where we want all of this. And see what happens here. It is difficult. It is very difficult to know how to cut this deck. I want to keep the cards that allow me to play the best fair game. So... Gosh, there's just no room in this deck to cut anything, is there? Man. It's just, everything's a Gyruda. I can't cut Gyrudas. I just can't. I have these Collective Brutalities in here basically because I just wanted a versatile duress effect, but I don't even know if I... You know what? We're Yorion deck now. We're playing more than 60. I know it's wrong. I don't care. Wow. I guess I'm in. I guess. I mean, I don't really want to mulligan this. We got the luck counter going on. Exile a card. I guess I'll just exile this island. Sure, why not? Unfortunately, Dragonlord Kolaghan is in our hand. Our opponent's going to have miles of removal. We don't have a Cavern of Souls. None of those things are particularly great for us, but what we do have is just the ability to make some land drops, and I think that probably goes a fairly decent length in this match, right? I mean, just making our land drops and being able to cast our stuff. The key here is going to be hitting, is our opponent's they're just going to be sitting on miles and miles of counter spells. Like I said, I do not have high hopes for these sideboarded games, but hitting Cavern of Souls changes that math sort of quite drastically. And now look, we have 5 mana. We're just one away from just hard casting Gyruda, regardless of what else we find. So maybe our 6th lane will be a Cavern of Souls and we'll be off to the races. It is true that given that most of our cards in our deck that are effective Gyrudas are not actually Gyrudas, they are clone effects. If our opponent removes the original Gyruda, I'm saying this way too much now, removes the original Gyruda with the ability on the stack, and we hit a clone, we would not have anything to copy. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways this can go wrong for us, right? But hey, we've got a luck counter, so maybe it'll all just go right. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and, with that said, just go ahead and Thoughtseize my opponent here, more or less. Looks like we're going to bait out counterspell number 1. Wow. Oh, they're just casting it. Sure. Okay, they're just casting the Force of Negation. Well, like I said, we got to get through them. We got to work our way through them, and that's what the Collective Brutalities are in here for. Not only do they double as basically the best sideboard card you can have against burn a lot of the time, sometimes even better than a Leyline. Yeah, that's disgusting. These Mystic Sanctuary is such a dumb card. It just has not. No one has ever had a game of Mystic Sanctuaries loops and felt like they had fun. So hate playing against that card. That said, here we go. We found our own good card here with this Heartless Summoning. Let's see what happens. Our goal is just to burn our opponent out of counter spells. If they start setting up Mystic Sanctuary Cryptic Locks, we might be in trouble here. But on the other hand, we might not be. So Heartless Summoning resolves. Our opponent's going to draw a Force of Negation. But Force of Negation doesn't counter Gyruda. And keep in mind, well, I say that. We're not quite there, but I mean, we had 5 lands to play anyways. We're still just a land away from casting Gyruda. We burned another card out of our opponent's hand. Force of Negation, though, not gonna stop us if we can find that land. And Lotus Bloom, huh? Okay. Hard to complain about that. I mean, look, we found 5 of our 20 lands in the top 10 cards. We just need something to get us over the hump here, whether that is a land, whether that's a Pentad Prism. I'd really just like to find a Cavern of Souls, but that would have been a good turn to start things going too. I mean, my opponent, they put that force on top of their deck, so they didn't have an unknown draw there. So now they're starting to get up their mana. They're starting to just kind of accumulate value, drawing cards with the Astrolabe, and here comes another Astrolabe. And this is, I mean, look, we're gonna have a window here. My opponent's tapping down a little bit. They have that force, but force doesn't stop us from casting Gyruda. So one time Cavern of Souls off the top. Deck did not cooperate with me last match. Will it this match? And eventually we will get to play this Lotus Bloom and force the issue. All right. That's something. Pentad Prism. This is an interesting one for my opponent. I mean, they see what it leads to, but what are you really going to do? Counter a Pentad Prism? You know, I have to say, honestly, this low key, yeah, countering this Pentad Prism with their force was actually a pretty good play because it keeps me from casting Gyruda next turn, which they can't counter with the force. So you basically use that force now, or you're not going to get a chance to use it. So that worked out for them. It was a good play, and we got rid of their Teferi, which they'd be slamming right now anyways. So all right, back to this game, and I think it's next turn we get our Lotus Bloom. So Sakashima the Impostor. Now, this can only copy creatures, right? All right, well, that means it can do nothing. It means that right now this card does nothing for us. I really like having the second Gyruda in hand here, though. I think that's a really powerful line. Now, our opponent's going to Field of Ruin our Gemstone Caverns, I guess. Or the Darkslick Shores, sure. Oh, wow. We exiled our island at the beginning. I feel comfortable with all the decisions I've made in this game, but that still is kind of annoying. Oh, wow. Look at this, though. My opponent playing Teferi, tapping out. Now, they're going to get an untap here. They need a force for this Lotus Bloom, or we're going to get a chance to try to go off here. That would be incredible if we did. I mean, like I said, I don't expect it, but... And now, unfortunately, you know, we can't punish them with a land too. That would be ideal if we had the Lotus Bloom and the land, but now we have to use our Lotus Bloom here, and just hope that it works, because the game's over essentially after this. You know, like I said, my opponent just probably always going to have it all. Restoration Angel is at least somewhat of an interesting draw, but with my opponent having that Teferi out, we know what Teferi does. It draws you a bunch of cards. It untaps all your mana. It keeps you going. So our line here, I guess, is to play the Resto Angel. Now, our opponent's deck is literally nothing but removal for our permanents, and we just have no shot here, frankly. A little unfortunate. These sideboard games are just disastrous for us. Our entire deck is built to do one thing, and their entire deck is built to stop it. And they get all these cards like Arkham's Astrolabe and Teferi and things to help set that up, and we get to draw Dragonlord Kolaghans instead. All right, well, we're Cryptic blocked now, so I'd say that this pretty much does it. Yep. All right, fair enough. On to game 3. Well, we hope to do the same thing, only better. We hope to have a little more success with the same game plan this time around. I mean, look, we had land drops there. We had, we had land drops. We had a Lotus Bloom involved. We had the Collective Brutality to try to attack their hand. I mean, we really had everything we wanted. We just couldn't quite get over the hump. I'm telling you, this deck it's just low on mana sources, and I get that it's greedy and it has to be, but this is rough. This has been very rough. Every single game we've played, it's been, can we get to 6 mana? If you have Lotus Bloom or Pentad Prism and Heartless Summonings, yeah, you can do it. But if you don't, it's just almost impossible to even play the game. So I got to say, I don't know what the deck needs. I don't know what the answer is to fill in there. I doubt that there's anything that both helps you cast Gyruda and then also doesn't mess you up when you're trying to Gyruda. But it is what it is. And now you look at this hand. This hand would be great, except that this hand is 4 mana away from doing anything. We just have to mulligan. Now, I probably should be mulliganing more aggressively than I have been anyways, which I think is probably a legitimate thing. I think maybe I've given up some real percentage points by not mulliganing aggressively enough to hands with things like Pentad Prism and Lotus Bloom, but you know what? We're figuring it out together. I'm somebody who doesn't like to mulligan. I don't like shuffling. But even online, I don't think I mulligan as much as I should. And yeah, I'm making these videos to record content for all of you and try to be entertaining. And look, that's what I'm here to do. But I also want to improve my own play while we're at it. I do coverage. I am at all the big events. I do a bunch of work related in that niche for Wizards. But I am also a Magic player. I mean, I have pro points from back in the day when that mattered. I have money won. I can play Magic all right. It's hard on these videos, but I want to try to step up my own game in terms of how much thought can I put into playing games correctly while also trying to be at least a little bit entertaining. So, but this is a pretty good start for us here. We have access to 5 mana next turn with the Prism. The turn after that, we have, I mean, we're out ahead of Cryptic at least here. And look, my opponent might be being really greedy here and digging for lands since they played that Astrolabe before they played a second land. Maybe it doesn't matter, but let's see what we hit here. Evil Twin, okay. Well, for what it's worth, 6, 7, 8. We need 9 to play around Mana Leak. Like, what if I just played Sakashima here? I don't think I can, because if my opponent has a Force of Negation for our Lotus Bloom, then I'll never get to cast Gyruda. I think I just have to keep my counters on the Prism. But if we hit another blue land here, I guess I can play this. It's a clone that's not actually a 0/0. It's a 3/1. So it's got some value there. I can only assume that this Pentad Prism is getting... Lotus Bloom, rather, is getting countered. We will see. All right, it resolved and drew us into another Pentad Prism. Okay, why not? I very much wish I had a... I wish I had a Pact here or a Cavern of Souls or something, but we got to do what we do, which is play our cards. Wow, they did have the Mana Leak blown out. I don't think it's... The thing is, Mana Leak gets us there, but if we don't play it, then Cryptic Command gets us next turn. So we can play around Mana Leak next turn if we draw a land, or I guess if I play that Prism, but I can't play around Cryptic. So I try to play around Cryptic, I guess. I don't really know what the quote unquote correct call is there. I do know that now things start to get a little dicey, though. Like I said, these matchups, they just seem unwinnable. They frankly just seems unwinnable after sideboarding. Like, our opponent has 6 cards in hand. It's probably like 1 land and 5 counter spells. If you don't draw your Cavern of Souls, you don't draw your Cavern of Souls. I think, honestly, that's what games 2 and 3 came down to, is we didn't draw Cavern of Souls. We drew Gemstone Caverns instead, right? I mean, obviously there's only 4 Caverns in our deck, but this is likely to go down as a loss here. But I don't know that it necessarily tells you that much about the matchup, because their deck really struggles to interact with a Cavern of Souls. So if we just get lucky and draw that in either of these two games, we probably win. I mean, we did attempt to cast Gyrudas both games. So that said, we're still playing the game at least, but our opponent has Cryptic Command lock set up because Wizards printed this insane card called Mystic Sanctuary. So let's see what we can do here. I guess what we can do is play a Pentad Prism. Yeah, this is just a lock, right? I mean, they just Cryptic this, return the Mystic Sanctuary. I mean, technically the Cryptic goes to the top of their library when they Mystic Sanctuary next turn, but so I mean, I guess that's what we're playing for here. But that combo locks you out of the game very quickly because it guarantees them a counterspell every other turn, and then you only have so many cards to play. So they're going to have more counterspells than you have cards, assuming that they have anything in their hand that basically does anything. It looks like this is Teferi coming down here. Maybe. Oh, my opponent going to be a little defensive instead. Not that it matters much. I mean, we could cash. Basically, we have to draw Cavern into Gyruda here. And that seems just... It seems like that's probably rather unlikely. I would play Sakashima the Impostor, though. Mana Leak. All right. If my opponent's burning Mana Leaks on our crappy 3-1s, we just have no chance to win this game. Although, the thing I brought up last game is true. Our opponent does have many fewer cards in their library than us, mostly because they get to draw extras and we don't. But if we get a crazy Gyruda loop, even if they then have the Cryptic to tap down the team, we can mill them out. So I'm not going to scoop until we're dead here in game 3. I don't really see a way in which we can hope to win, but it's Cavern off the top. More Pentad Prisms, yep. Cavern off the top and then Gyruda. So, I mean, it's going to take our opponent a while to kill us. Meanwhile, we're hanging on for that, I don't know, 1% odds, 2% odds or something here. And my opponent realizes that Pentad Prism might not matter that much, and they're just going to Force of Negation it. Keep the Cryptic in their hand so that they get a fresh draw step. Good type play by them. It's too bad. It's too bad our opponent's not letting us have fun. I love that we are playing a combo deck that is a creature combo. Not a creature combo like Splinter Twin where creature removal works against it, but true creature combo where you literally just cast a creature and you've comboed. Right? It's kind of a one-card combo in that sense. So things like Force of Negation don't work against it, but unfortunately for us, that does in fact come with a drawback, and I think that we are extraordinarily dead here as the Jace brainstorming begins. All right, well, this is not, I won't lie, this is not the start I wanted to get off to with this deck. I see people posting about going 10-0 in leagues online, and here I can't buy a win. But like I said, I think we've been a little unlucky in both matches. We couldn't find lands in the first one, and in this one we couldn't find a cavern. So, and our opponent just kind of always had the counter spells, which we expect him to. So it didn't quite work out, but you know, despite being 0-2, the point of these games is to show you what the deck can do. And we certainly showed what it was capable of in game 1. And in these games, literally the difference was whether or not we had a Cavern of Souls on turn 5 or whatever when we cast that Gyruda. All right, Teferi joins the Planeswalker party here. Bouncing our Pentad Prism. Sure. I'm going to take one more draw step. I think I've seen enough here. This is an unfortunate buzzsaw to run into, the mono counterspell, mono cryptic lock deck. As a matter of fact, we already know they have cryptic command, so it's and now they probably have access to other actual removal, so it might be hard for us to even get a chain going, even if we were to find Cavern Cryptic. But I'll give it another draw step, see what's up here. I play around Mana League pretty soon. Spark Double. Now I'm just out. We have to draw runner, and against multiple Planeswalkers, it's never going to happen. Well, all right. Let's see if we can pick up a win, though. This deck is good. I'm telling you, this deck is sweet. I want to put some wins up with it because it's a lot of fun. But on to the next one, see what we can do. All right, we are on the play, and I would really like to pick up a win with this sweet Gyruda deck here. So let's see what we can do. You know what I'm in? 2 lands, Lotus Bloom, that's 5 mana. It's not quite 6, but it is a start. So I am in. We're on the play. Just give me 1 mana source game. We've got all of our colors. I mean, this hand is actually somewhat reasonable, right? The Gyrudas in hand, they kind of don't matter. But I don't think you mulligan a Lotus Bloom hand and a Phantasmal Image if our opponent is playing fair. Keeps us around, keeps us in the game for a little bit here. And our opponent mulliganing down to 6 anyways probably means that we are going to have some time to try to set up here. Ah, it's an elf. It is. Oh my gosh, I didn't suspend this. Misclick. Let's see if we get punished for the misclick. I don't think I will, to be honest. But run out this Heartless Summoning here. As it turns out, Arbor Elf, the 1 mana elf, I cannot copy with Phantasmal Image because we would have no forest to untap. But Heartless Summoning gets us to 4. I'm really tilted. I missed that on turn 1. Misclicks happen, am I right? Let's see if it matters. So I mean, like I said, it might not matter, and then I don't have to I don't have to hang my head in shame. Red green's something out of our opponent over there. Is this the Utopia Sprawl? They just have the nuts. All right, 4 mana on turn 2. That is the best draw you can possibly have with an Arbor Elf. Let's see what their payoff is. Oh. Well, that's pretty good. That's a lot of mana they're going to have next turn. It is 4 mana for right now. Into the turn 2 Bloodbraid Elf, huh? Okay. Oh, they hit a Utopia. So next turn, they can make... What is that? 8 mana, 9 mana. They have access to 9 mana on turn 3. Apparently, I should have been ramping in my Gyrudas like that, I guess. I can copy a Bloodbraid Elf. I'm so tilted about this Lotus Bloom. I'm just going to lose by 1 turn here. Oh, maybe not, though. Pentad Prism might be here to save us. Fear not, everybody. It is still the turn 4 Gyruda plan because 2 from Heartless Summoning because it makes them cost 2 less. 2 from Pentad Prism, 2 from the land. So, all right. We don't have to hang our heads in shame quite as badly here because we will have a Gyruda next turn and then a Gyruda the turn after that. Meanwhile, my opponent has a billion, just an actual billion mana on turn 3 here. But I don't know if Chandra's going to be good enough. Chandra is a great card. They can X out here. They can ping me. They can get me down to 13, 15, and then 12 this turn with the elf. I mean, they can do a lot of stuff, but it's actually pillage that we care the most about. It's land destruction that gets us. Seasoned Pyromancer is not that. So if I were my opponent, I mean, they're playing some kind of Ponza deck. I don't know how much land destruction they have, but might have exiled first with Chandra to try to find that pillage, destroy target artifact or land. He hit our Pentad Prism here. But it looks like they're not done yet. Gotta say, this was a pretty sick mulligan to 6 for them. If I was playing any kind of a fair deck, we would be in a lot of trouble. Yeah, Scavenging Ooze, though, don't so much care about that one. All right, well, they got 1 card left. The beatdowns come in. This is all fine for us. We're going to have a shot to win it here. Now, if I whiff on the Gyrudas, I am going to lose because I don't have that extra mana from the Lotus Bloom to cast the Phantasmal Image after, which is actually really annoying because it is actually kind of a key part to playing the deck. Is it seems like being able to, on the turn that you combo off, to also be able to play another one so that you can grab your Dragonlord Kolaghan when you need to. That said, though, I don't think we have much of a choice. Let's play a Gyruda. Our hand is just full of other Gyrudas, so I don't know how well we're gonna come off here. But we also hit like like an Inferno Titan or something from them that would actually be pretty good. Nothing from them. We did get stuff of our own though. I will take this Resto Angel here. Blink this thing. And Gyruda again. See, there's the Dragonlord Kolaghan. This is what I was worried about. I don't think I'm going to take the Dragonlord. I think I'm going to keep going. Because we can just play a fair game and beat our opponents. They have 1 card in hand. We have more Gyrudas. On the other hand, I could get Dragonlord Kolaghan here. And attack my opponent's Chandra to death. I don't think that's what I want to do. I think I just want to spam the board here. I don't think my opponent can win very well if we do that. And you know what? I can actually make a flyer out of it if I really want. The other reason to keep going is if we get lucky, we can mill our opponent out and win that way. I don't know that we will, but we'll see. See what we get here. All right, well, we're still going. Sure, I guess. Okay, I want to make sure. Magic Online's messing with me a little bit here. I want to make sure I'm doing this right. All right, we will take a... See, this is the nice part. We can take Evil Twin, copy Resto Angel so that it doesn't go away, and then we'll still get the ability, and we can still hit Gyruda with it. So the only downside to all of this is that we're not going to have haste. But if we mill our opponents out, that won't matter. And we're still trying, so why not, right? All right, Sakashima can copy a Gyruda. Okay, we're still doing it. Gyruda again. We got our opponent down to 17 cards in their library now. We're still doing it. Here comes another spark. Our opponent's just going to scoop even though we can't actually kill them this turn. Maybe we could have milled them out. I mean, we probably win no matter what, but hey, I'll take it. Ponza down onto the sideboard. And that's actually kind of especially nice given that our opponent had an insane start. They had 9 mana on turn 3. 9 mana on turn 3. That's more than Tron. Pretty good on their part, but we still got there because our deck is sweet. The Damnations do seem pretty good here. I think we can probably cut... I mean, honestly, Evil Twin is probably the worst clone in the deck. At least a Metamorph can copy a Mana Rock. You know, their Mana Rocks. I don't know what it's going to copy, but it's it costs less mana. So I want the Echoing Truths. We'll give this a shot. I mean, I did sideboard a little aggressively here in terms of how many copy effects I cut. I cut 3 Gyrudas essentially. That said, our opponent's deck is sort of it's a good deck. I love Ponza's decks actually, but it's very fair. So if we just put a bunch of creatures into play, it's fine. We don't actually have to full combo them to death or anything like that. I think I have to be in for this. We're on the draw, so we get to do a free action with the Gemstone Caverns here. We have Moorlands. I have the Heartless Summoning. I mean, we actually just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have enough to play this thing on turn 4 as it stands right now. So we're lining up a turn 4 Gyruda from the Companion Zone thanks to this Heartless Summoning. Wait a minute, I can play Heartless Summoning on turn 1. I can play Heartless Summoning on turn 1, actually. Hold up. I don't actually think that changes anything, but it does make our turn 4 turn 3. So that's actually pretty sick. I don't want to put the second one in there. I want to exile the second one to this. There we go. Wait a minute, did I unlock the turn 3 kill here with Gyruda? Meanwhile, my opponent mulliganed? Could it be the Dream? It's possible. There's some cards we struggle against beating. That's not one of them, though. Utopia Sprawl without an elf. You know what? I'm in. Yeah, we got plenty of mana in this game. Heartless Summoning. It always is turn 4, by the way. Or this was our turn 1. I just keep getting so messed up. So we're going to go for the turn 3 kill here with Gyruda. Pretty sick. Put some Simian Spirit Guides in this deck. Could have had the turn 2. Uh-oh. All right. Just kidding. We've been pillaged. We just got it all. We just got it all. You know what? I talked in those first couple games. Sometimes it's just not your night on Magic Online. Sometimes it's just not going to be there for you. And then sometimes you have multiple ways to kill your opponent on turn 3. Gemstone Caverns, that's a turn 3 kill. Oh, pillage? Well, I guess no. Okay, well, ignore everything I said. We can't beat this card. This card's hard to beat. That's too bad. We had multiple ways to kill our opponent on turn 3 there. And as it stands now, we can't do anything. Except play a 5/5. Shouldn't play a 5/5. We have plenty of mana. Gyruda doesn't do anything with Grafdigger's Cage out. Except it does one thing pretty well. It's a 6/6. With a Heartless Summoning, now it's a 5/5. But my opponent has one card in hand, no creatures in play. Turns out you can just turn it sideways and kill him, and then we can spark double it to have a second Gyruda. I'm just going to play fair Gyrudas and win as my opponent plays Grafdigger's Cage and stops our combo. Combo him in game 1, win fair in game 2. That's a sign of a pretty decent deck right there, frankly. That is very, very strong. So let's see if we can do it and see if we can pull it off. I mean, Chandra does 4 damage to creatures. That can't kill it. Something like Bloodbraid Elf just looks pretty silly when you have this out here. I mean, oh, crud. when it paid the full cost there, when I clearly didn't need to. Is it... What? Is it going to let me return one? No, that was weird. Okay. I guess we just whiffed on the first one, so it didn't even give me the option. Okay. Guess that is what it is. We've got a 5/5 and a 6/6, and we'll pass the turn back. And if they do deal with the with one of them, we've got another one where that came from. We just win. All right. We did it. We took down a match. All right, so we had 2 super close ones there in the first couple rounds that were definitely worth watching. I mulliganed a little better. Honestly, I think we might have been able to take them. Here in match 3, though, this is what the deck can do. Combo them in game 1, just wreck them in game 2 when they mulligan looking for their sideboard pieces. Our opponent mulliganed down, saw that Grafdigger's Cage, said, I've got him, I stopped the combo. And we just turn your 5/5 sideways. That is a deck, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Corbin Hosler. This is Mighty Modern. This was an awesome Gyruda list. We might get tired of companions eventually, but for now, I think they're pretty fun to toy around with. Thank you so much for watching, as always. You can find me on Twitter at @CHosler. It's just CHOSLER. You can find me on Twitch at the same. Like I said at the beginning, go check out the videos that are going up on Wizards YouTube channel for Magic over the next couple weeks. You will see me in some of those. I have a podcast called Brainstorm Brewery. Do a lot of content. I write for the Overwatch League. If you happen to be into that, I had a story up on the Dallas Fuel that went up this week. I try to stay pretty busy as much as I can during the shutdown here. So thank you for watching. If you're interested in any of my other content, that's when you can find it. And if not, you just want to watch the videos here on Cool Stuff Inc. It's Mighty Modern, Punting Pioneer, alternating every Thursday. Thank you. I'll see you next week.